Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be reviewing the GMC Acadia Denali. Before we get into this video, I'll include a link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 328 horsepower and then 326 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So taking a look at the hood, you can see it's raised there on either side, and then you've got these signature C-shaped headlights, which I think is a cool design cue. Now with the Denali, you're going to get a fancy chrome grille. We've got fog lights on either side, parking sensors as well. And so when you put it all together, it does have that luxury SUV appearance, and it's definitely grand, that's for sure. Our tire wheel setup is 275 by 45 by 22, so definitely big wheels, and they're fancy looking too with all the finishes. You've got those body painted fender flares, the Denali badge there on the side, and even this bottom section is actually painted black, so it just looks more premium. And that's what you notice about the Denali, is all the trim on the exterior looks a bit more premium. Now this leads us to the key fob, if it'll ever focus. There you go, you got your lock and unlock remote start, you got the opening for the hatch, GMC logo there on the back, and let's pop inside and see what's happening here. So you'll notice first and foremost, with the seats, third row you can raise and lower, the second row you can only lower down, but it's cool that you still have that option. And with the third row lowered down, I mean, you have an insane amount of space here in the back, and even behind the third row you've got a ton of space. This is similar in size to like a previous gen Yukon or Tahoe. It's a big beast. And then when it comes to the rest of the taillights, you can see those kind of arc across. You got your Denali badge there, Acadia down below. 4 exhaust tips. I guess you have 1 exhaust tip per cylinder, right? But yeah, I think this thing actually looks really cool. The proportions work quite well. Now, keyless entry even for the rear, which is nice. You've got soft touch up top. You've got this wood trim that goes across. Nice stitching pattern across as well. This is cool with the cross stitching. And then look at these seats. Pretty fancy looking. And they're adjustable and everything, of course. Legroom here in the back is good. As you can see, you can adjust the seats if you want more or less. Got cup holders here in the back, heated seats, got our own climate zone. And this one's got captain chairs, so you've got these little armrests and then a little pass-through here in the center. And then as for the third row, the seats are just as nice, so they didn't cheap out on that. You get a little window there in the back too. And then you notice that legroom is actually really good. Again, just like previous gen Tahoe. So that is a big benefit of this new Acadia for a 3-row, crossover in this segment. It has more space than everyone else. Like, you can fit adults back there, no problem. This leads us up front, where again, you've got all the nice soft touch trim all over. Over window controls, the driver window is automatic. And then you've got power folding mirrors, memory seats, blind spot monitoring, and Denali there. Again, nice trim all over. Power adjustments on the side. Get a little drive mode select. You can pop into all-wheel drive if you want. So you can have in 2-wheel drive, which will give you better fuel economy. And the steering wheel's power adjustable. And start her up. So first off, we've got paddles there on the back, and you can see the little stalks there. And this does have a column shifter to free up space. Practical controls for the center. We also have a heated steering wheel function there. And you notice the little ring there at the top. This does have Super Cruise. The controls for it are right there. So it's like a self-driving system, which functions similar to like an adaptive cruise, where it'll go up and down in speed, but it also change lanes for you and everything, which is really cool. So here is our gauge cluster. It's fully digital. You guys can see the average MPG, and then notice 2-wheel drive, and it shows that the power is going to the front. But you can change the view with the gauge cluster to display what information, what style that you want. So it's very customizable. We also have a heads-up display as well. And then 360 camera, which is nice because this is a big vehicle, so it's good to have all the angles on that. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, I mean, it's big. It's a big unit. This does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And you'll notice that a lot has been built into the screen. So like the headlights, for example, that's built into the screen. Climate controls, I mean, there's partial physical buttons here at the bottom, but then also a lot in the screen as well. Little volume control built in as well. Phone charging pad, you got some cup holders, and then there's, again, because there's no shifter in the center, storage underneath the center console. And more storage there in the center console itself. Nice trim here on the top. Again, this is a very premium feeling interior. I'd say this is kind of funny how the dash just goes like boom. Anyways, camera rear view mirror, and then we do have a panoramic sunroof. Now it's gonna be kind of hard to see because I've got this window sticker on my phone, but this fancy does come at a price. This is over $64,000 for the total MSRP pricing, and let's see how it performs. Now I've been living with the Acadia for the last week, and so we'll talk about what it's also like to live with. But starting off with the driving dynamics, the two-wheel drive actually doesn't bother me at all. Some people will complain when something is front-wheel drive based versus rear-wheel drive based with a big vehicle, because you've got it pulling forward rather than pushing from the back. But here's the deal. This is a family car. So as long as it is easy to maneuver and all of that, it's fine, and it is. It is a big vehicle. The camera system helps out. I had a couple of situations where I had to kind of like repark a few times, but it does have independent suspension, and it's unibody, so it's rigid, and everything turns well. So yeah, it's pretty darn easy to drive. Suspension's really comfortable too. I thought I was gonna be annoyed with the powertrain. I'm actually not. Now, it's not fast by any means, but it's enough power. It's enough power. And the fuel economy is decent. Biggest thing is it's got big range, and this is something that I think some automakers are just missing in today's world. Is it seems like there's a lot of, especially Toyota, there's a lot of downsizing with fuel tanks, and not the case here. I mean, you can see I've already used up quite a bit of fuel, and I still have almost 400 miles of range. So it's actually quite impressive how much range this has, and that's what you want with a car like this. You don't want to have to fill up your family car every other day. So it's nice that they have that. And like I said, the torque, it's actually pretty darn good. Again, it's not the best sounding powertrain on the planet, but who cares? Again, family car, right? Family car. So in terms of livability, there's so much space in the back storage wise, so it's like you're never gonna run out of space there. That's great. Interior space is fantastic. Like, this fits everything so well. This is similar to like a minivan in terms of how it feels with the space, but it doesn't look like a minivan. Obviously, it looks a lot cooler than a minivan. It's a big kind of like boxy-ish SUV, and the suspension's also just it's just a comfortable vehicle to drive in general. And so, you know, I think like one of the best ways to kind of describe this whole situation is the fact that I would say this is probably one of the best. This and the Traverse sibling are like one of the best people movers in today's world. Again, minivans are right there, and I think that GM understands the utility of minivans, and so that's why they kind of made the new Acadia, the new Traverse, so big, and how they did the layout to kind of mimic a minivan without being a minivan, because people don't like minivans, right? They're lame. They don't look cool. And so I think they did a really good job. And so I think that's the best way to look at this, and the new Traverse as well, is you basically get minivan practicality in an SUV. So like there's literally no downside to it. And this Denali package is more expensive, but you don't have to get Denali. You can get like an Elevation with the Acadia if you wanted something that's a little bit less expensive. But if you want all the features, right? You want, you know, the heated and cooled seats, for example. It is accessed on the touchscreen, but you want stuff like that. You want the Super Cruise, just everything, right? The nicer seats. Then yeah, you go for the Denali package. But let me guys think about the new Acadia. But I think this is a fantastic vehicle, and I think these are actually going to sell. They're already selling really well, like you can notice, but I think they're going to continue to sell really well because it's a people mover, and people want people movers, right? So let me know your thoughts.